Yes, the shades are back. You guys tend to prefer them. I forgot I had my pixel glasses on, which is something I tend to wear with my girlfriend. And I was doing a project for my girlfriend before coming on here. And I'm guessing most of you don't care about that, but deal. Anyways, this is the Mad Max Dev Diary, and actually it's probably going to be a melding of two different discussions. One's going to be slightly personal, the other one is going to be um, just your average dev diary. Earlier this year, we lost a third of our income. And I'm not going to bore you with details. There's even more that's being taken out of even that. And basically put, I'm starting to come to, our family is starting to come to its financial end of its rope. Uh, the reason I tend to bring this up is I'm gonna have to start focusing even before I go back to school this summer on doing things that bring money in. You know, right now I'm at the point to where I'm so sick or I'm so allergic to things that I'm unable to work. I've got injuries from my last job that I can't get taken care of that are also affecting my ability to be productive. So me getting a manual labor job right now is just not in the cards. And in general, a basic job is not likely in the cards either at this point, which is why school is so attractive. And getting a career where I could be able to have my insurance and be able to deal with my health issues would be obviously ideal. And that's what I'm working towards. In the meantime, we're also looking at going after Social Security, disability for the stuff that's happening with me. I've been to the doctors a lot. There's not a lot they can tell me, and I don't have the money to take care of the things I need to take care of, like my teeth. And my teeth weren't completely a result of my stupidity when I was younger due to the incident that I've talked about as to why my teeth are the way they are. It's a combination of bad enamel and being a hopeless romantic. It's a long story, not worth getting into. So the point is, I'm not going to have as much time to do modeling in the meantime. I've got to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I've got to do it. And you know what? Since I've got a son that I am looking after, I have little choice. So I may be having to kind of not maybe. I'm probably going to be tapering off of doing a lot of video work on any of my channels at this point. And my art stuff as well is going to be kind of going downhill for the time being just because I've got other responsibilities. Life's biting me in the butt, unfortunately, which tends to happen almost every time I try to do this project. I know that I don't tend to believe in paranormal stuff in general, aside from my own experience starting from my birth till age 8 while I was in a particular house, which again, I'm not going to get into. If you're curious, go to my other channel, um, the Bad Cop 69, and check out my life with poltergeists, where I explain that I'm not making a positive assertion that I lived with poltergeists, but that's the closest terminology I can come to anything that most of you would understand as far as how it pertained to my life. But it's hard to overlook how much stuff would have to align for me to constantly be starting this project and constantly having bad things happening. It just tends to be a cursed project. Not that I'm saying I believe in curses, I'm just simply saying things usually go wrong. Things usually go awry. And it's not always great that that happens, but it happens. So I understand it and I move on. You know, that's all I could ever possibly do with things. I'm never going to stop this project. And in fact, I'm very close to, well, I'll get into that when I'm there. But basically put, Yeah, life's just kind of biting me in the butt right now, as well as the rest of my family. And I've got issues with my brother, and despite Colorado passing the laws it did, it's decided it wants to make my brother into a example for reasons I'll probably get into in a future video. Because it involves a lot of social topics that I've talked about in the past, and now that it's hitting home, yeah. And in April, I'm probably not going to be on at all because I'm probably not going to be here. I'm probably going to be in Colorado closing up my brother's house, and again, long story. I hate to be a bummer, guys. I really do, but it's just it's getting to the point to where we've cut back so much and we still have so much more to cut back on. And because of the nature of my stepfather's work, we're going to have the internet, but I'm probably going to have to limit how much I upload as far as videos. It's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So I'm going to be having to figure out what I can do in the state I'm in now and try to do what I can because I have to. I've got no choice. Not that if I had a choice, I would say otherwise, because I do try to take care of my friends and my family, but yeah. So anyways, now that that bad personal stuff's out of the way, what's happening with the mod? Well, um, I've got a laptop that I'm looking at. It turns out the laptop discount laptop place around us, in order to have anything even slightly workable, we're talking like iPad level of iPad current generation level prices. And in which case I might as well get an iPad, but the iPad can't run the things I need it to run. Although for videography, it wouldn't be too bad of a thing, but I'm getting off on a tangent here. Um, so part of me wants that as a mobile workstation because it's kind of the last hurrah. It's the last thing that I can do before before the last ratcheting of that belt in this situation here. It was an offered item. I found some great ones on Amazon. I'm not sure which one I'm going to be able to get yet, but I found some really good ones that were even cheaper than the place we were looking at around here. If I can get that, uh, I may be able to get Vice City to work because a lot of what I'm looking at is running on XP, which I really kind of need for Vice City. Because everything I've read on the forums, especially of Steam, tend to suggest that, well, for one, my card being a Radeon does not favor the earlier GTA series, and for another, it would some programs I'm working with work best in XP, and that's where I'd want to go with things. And right now, I really can't do the car spawner in my program in San Andreas, and San Andreas has its graphical problems. So I'm trying to skirt a lot of issues that can be solved by having a slightly older laptop. Although this camera here is specifically made for XP, but I'm sure I have one or two older cameras that or is made for Windows 7, excuse me, and I'm sure I can get two older cameras. Um, I found out that the Mac I have is the very basic beta release that we released as a treat to the public and to the fans of the mod way back when. It doesn't have the dual wheels in the back, whereas a lot of other mods that are released, some of which I know are stolen from yours truly, have the dual wheels. So I've got to fix that. I know a bit of how to fix it because somebody else was doing dual wheel dummying for the thing, but I'm going to have to fix the wheels because right now we got fat tires on our Mac, which it doesn't really look the part in the front, and in the back it does its purpose, but only just slightly. It's just not enough for it to work well. So if I slim down those wheels and I do the right dummy, then we'll get it done. I found my old forum posts with some of the images that are still up in hosting. So if you want to see one of the unfinished betas that does still exist, but not in an in-game working form, link will be down in the underbar for that. I was surprised to find it. Some people were working behind the scenes to get some of my unskinned models at least into San Andreas, and they succeeded. So we lost the no front fender Statesman. We lost the humongous truck, which looked awesome even without the skin. We lost the trailer, and we lost the red snake truck working in game, where they would have only needed a skin and they would be perfect. Um, Again, it's the nature of the beast. I lost so many models, I lost so much progress so long ago, and some people made models work in game and never uploaded them to our mutual source, so I was never able to get my hands on those unskinned betas. Although, if you're watching this and you were part of the T808 Mad Max mod and you maybe have some of those old files lying around, which I doubt because we're talking 2007, maybe 2009 at the latest, then PM me and let's see if we can get those models signed over here because that would save a lot of work, a lot of rework at this point. I found a model that looks almost identical body line wise to one of the more elusive Mad Max vehicles from Mad Max 2, the 4-lane ZG, that I wasn't really able to do very well on recreating in the past. And so I'm talking to a friend of mine who I've worked with his models before to see if he might be able to get me the original mesh and if I could have permission to either modify his or create an alternate version that's a modeled ref version of his vehicle. Beyond that, I'm still trying to get some model ripping done on some pet projects. I'm almost finished with the Thunderdome plane. I've got everything but the cockpit done right now. And it looks way better redoing the body. So that was a better call for me because if I just went in and started cutting it up and cutting the planes, it's not enough. There just wasn't enough poly in the original body that I had created in the original cockpit I had created, and the model suffered for it. I mean, the renders at times look okay, but I have a feeling that when it gets skinned and in game, it's going to look atrocious. And I'm only going to have myself to blame. So probably over the next couple days, if I have time, because you've heard already at the beginning of this why I'm not going to have a lot of free time like I used to. I'm going to be ref modeling the rest of the cockpit because most of the cockpit's usable. It just needs a little extra poly, so I'm going back and spline modeling a little more poly into the cockpit because it was too late to add poly to it as it was. If I can get that done, then the first newest mod, and actually a better version because I've built the body of this thing way more from the ground up than I did the original time. So there's a lot less mistakes this time around. She should be ready to be dummied up, thrown in game, skinned, thrown in game, and we should have both a Thunderdome movie version of the air truck and a stock version. So long story short, work's getting done mostly by me, but I don't blame the other people involved. Everybody has their lives. I'm not angry because I know I have my life. I know I have things I have to be responsible for as stipulated at the beginning of this video here. This project's never going to die completely, but, you know, it's just going to be extremely slow in going. I just don't have the means by which right now to uphold myself enough to be able to have the time that I've had. And, you know, I mean, my time was going to evaporate come this summer anyways, so, you know. So take it as it is, but this is the Dev Diary, and so this is mostly what I wanted to get out tonight, and I hope you guys have a good evening.